feed them.
They travel 4 miles every day in search of pollen.
Right. Okay, hang on. Midwife skills just got added, and I don't know if that one's on the list. So Mother Earth Garden Club said midwife skills, and that is definitely one for, and it's not, it doesn't have to be midwife, it can be mid husband. All right, learn beekeeping. Prepper Girl does archery, cool.
Nice.
And one of my videos on archery, some of the things girls can do in archery are amazing. I've never seen a guy be able to do some of the things the girls do. I mean, this one girl was shooting, and she had paper blocks up, one here, one there, and she shot, and the arrow went around, and they did it from everything. They can curve an arrow, like in was it in Wanted with Angelina Jolie and stuff, curving the bullet. Well, they do that with archery. They've been doing that with archery for centuries.
Yeah, it doesn't work with bullets, though. Just saying.
No,
yeah,
not as well.
I've tried and I've tried. I think I put a couple thousand rounds through my 22 trying to curve it. No, don't work.
Nah.
That's called a ricochet, not a curve. Yeah. Anyway.
Dave Knight is here. Little Lone Prepper is here. Came in on your side there, Tammy. No, probably on Lee's side. Little Lone Prepper. All right, so another skill to look at, plumbing, especially in Milwaukee, when the sewer treatment plants are down and stuff, and your sewer lining can work. You got to learn how to know plumbing so you can put in a septic tank and a leach field yourself if you don't already have one. Plumbing is absolutely essential, especially several years in when if you're out somewhere, you need to build another house on your bug out property for the next generation that's coming up sooner than you expected. Because hey, people are going to make babies, and so that is probably one of the first things you're going to want that they want to have in every little house you build is some sort of plumbing, so they don't have to go outside to an outhouse.
That has so much fun to go out and when it's 30 below zero out and there's 4 feet of snow on the ground.
Oh, even worse than that, it's just when it's 27 degrees out and it's still raining and blowing. That really sucks. And you're just like, why isn't this turning to snow? All right.
And all the people in Alaska with dry cabins are laughing at this conversation right now.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Throw that out there.
That's your biggest fear? Okay.
Yeah.
That's not a fear. It's just a skill. I mean, because hey, if you know how to do electrical and plumbing, and somebody has a dry cabin and they want plumbed, hey, you can do make stuff there.
We hit 100 today.
What was that?
We hit 100 today. It's going to be 105 tomorrow.
Dang! All right, this Saturday and Sunday, we were at 84 and 82 respectively. Today, we barely cracked. I don't. Did we hit 60? Hang on, let me double check here.
I had 64.
No, we hit 55 was the high today.
It was 81 here yesterday. It didn't get anywhere near that today.
Yeah. All right. Natural medicine got another one popped up here, so we'll see what's on the other ones here. All right, so electrical, if you know how to wire electricity and you're using unused solar panels, but they don't know how to hook them up, guess what? If you know electricity, you can hook it up for them and get paid in food. Appliance repair. Appliance repair has a secondary thing on it. Some appliances can be converted from 120 volt to 12 volt.
Yeah.
Which means you can then run them directly on solar without having to use an inverter and lose power. Now, someone put this out right away last time, 5.5 years ago. Convert water to hydrogen. That I don't think is a really, unless you're rich and you have a lot of stuff and you want to do that. Personally, I don't think that's a important one. But the other one that's part of that is convert to hydrogen in one side and oxygen in the other for people that need oxygen, medical purposes.
Yeah, you still got to compress it though, and
yeah, you got to have you got to have the equipment,
special equipment for that.
Yeah. Medical triage was mentioned last time because there's going to be accidents happening, and you need to know how to properly triage those that are injured and not waste materials on those that cannot be saved. Cast iron care is a skill that is so lacking these days. Oh, all the cast irons out there, people do not know how to properly care for their cast iron.
Oh, here's the irony. Your top 10 list, cooking is not listed. There are so many people that just don't know how to cook, let alone use things that they have to cook to eat in your cast iron. And then if you get sick, you need your medical triage. And I mean, you can.
Well, and there's no food preservation on there. I mean,
if like I said, there are 50 some odd things that the people in the chat 5.5 years ago were giving, and I was typing it in as we went along.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should have renovated it to the top 10, and then work it. Well, you said 5 top skills you need, and that's not one of them.
Well, those top 5 skills is what you have to pick out. You have to pick out your 5 top skills that you want to learn now. I'm going to give you 50 choices here.
Okay.
So you're going to get 50 choices here, and you need to pick out your top 5, or another one that we didn't even consider here that you think is a top 5, and then you're going to pick out 3 that you need to learn that no one else is going to be doing around you, that is going to make you more valuable in SHTF walkie situation.
Well, on this list of this 10, the only one I have not done is
Farrier.
That's not, you don't know me. I had 17 horses. I didn't pay for that. I have not converted water to hydrogen except in a laboratory in college, and that's been 30 years. So that one I would be hard pressed to try to figure out today. Yeah.
And it's like on here, I haven't done trapping. I haven't done the hydrogen. I haven't done beekeeping, but I've done plumbing, electrical, appliance repair. I've done medical triage, cast iron, better gardening, farrier. My dad was a farrier and a blacksmith. I haven't done trapping though.
Yeah.
Unless you call trapping my cousins.
That's a different kind of trapping.
I've done both the traps where the really inhumane ones and humane ones. So.
Yeah. All right, now let's see our next list here. We got, someone fired in welding. And believe it or not, if you're on solar, you can still weld. Because most welders, even though they're plugged into 220, when they go to DC, that's a low voltage, high amperage on the DC. So, medical herbs and remedies. We've talked about this, I don't know how many times on both channels. We've shown plenty of books that you can get on Amazon. My wife has several books that she's got. So now number 13. Every Monday night here, we're talking
on Mondays.
What is this canning thing you speak? What is this canning thing you speak of? I have never heard of it.
Canning.
And we also just covered number 14, distilling alcohol. Briefly on Monday night, not too long ago.
Yeah, but last night especially, we talked about everything. Dehydrating, drying, freeze drying, freezing, canning, salting. A couple other things we covered last night. So last night we covered a boatload of number 13. Distilling alcohol is depending on the state you're in. You got to tiptoe around that now. Certain states allow you to do a certain amount for personal use. Yeah, family, immediate family only.
Now, distilling water, that's different, but it's still distilling, same setup, same everything to distill water.
Yeah, except that in distilling the alcohol, you're not just putting, quote, bad water in and we're getting good water out. You're putting a mash in, and you're putting ingredients in.
You're putting sweet water out and getting sweet water in and getting fire water out.
I think I'll just stick to making, hard cider. That's easy. You don't need a fire.
Here's the hunting that was mentioned by Vanessa Katie, and fishing right after that. So she said hunting, and fishing. And there is hunting and fishing. That's why they popped up last time too. Hunting came up first, fishing right after it. Number 17. I was just talking about this too, about the woodwright shop. Absolutely. You want to learn woodworking with non-powered tools or human-powered tools? You can watch that on PBS. You can get it on PBS off of Amazon on Prime. 37 seasons, I believe it is. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Number 18. Guys, I don't want to hear any crap from you on number 18.
Why? I sew. I got 3 sewing machines.
Yeah, my older brother, when I was 12 years old, made me a 3-piece suit for graduating junior high.
Nice.
All right. So sewing is something that everybody should learn, because if you're out there doing something, you should be able to go through and, repair your socks, whatever it is out there. You tear your pants, you'll be able to sew it back up. All right, let's see. Butch Graves is in here. Ferocious is in here. Who else did I just miss coming in there? We're getting good people in here, folks. All right, so sewing, number 18 out of 50. Remember, you want to pick 5 that you need to learn now as your top 5, and then 3 that most people aren't going to pick. That's going to make you more valuable afterwards, after the balloon goes up. All right, making ammo. That was what they put in. And actually, that is making ammo or reloading ammo, because if you know how to do saltpeter, charcoal, sulfur, you can make black powder. Muzzle loaders are not tracked. So muzzle loading is fun. Skill, bartering. We've talked about this several times.
I thought I read that as bartending. I'm like, who in the heck put bartending on there? Sorry.
Mark, you need my glasses?
No, thanks. I'm good. Actually,
I
fell today at a customer and slammed my butt so hard I have a purple welt from side to side right now. So, yeah, my brain's a little foggy.
Hey, Mark, just for fun, do you want to pick 1 or 2 on this list you think that I should choose?
Welding?
No, sorry. I've helped 2 people study for the state test. They both passed. I could probably take the state test now myself.
Yeah, I guess in maybe making ammo and woodworking.
I have a whole reloading set.
Oh, there you go.
For every gun I own a reload set for.
You may just log off now and be a spectator.
Sorry. That farrier thing stung though. I had to, I'm still stinging from it. So
hey, you know what? Sorry, I got everything on this list. I'm like, yeah, sure. I know how to make ammo. It's a matter of do I use it? No.
Yeah.
I even own a welder. Well, my son does, but close enough.
Yeah.
I bought it for him.
Yeah. Let's see. Between my son and I, we got 3 welders, and the 2 welders I know of, he was thinking about getting a TIG. So that would have make us have 4 welders between us.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, there's a commercial on, and it's a $49 110 volt welding set.
Huh?
Have you seen that? And what do you think of it?
No, I haven't.
It's got to be from China.
I haven't seen that.
It looks like a soldering iron, but it has a solid core wire that goes down that they basically electric arc weld.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that on YouTube advertisements and some Rumble ads, but until I see one in person, I'm not going to invest a penny into some random whatever it is that is like an AI generated, with a fast talking female doing the talk. Yeah, whatever.
All right. So,
but Harbor Freight has some that are, how do I put it, adequate for not very much more than that. I would go for the Harbor Freight one.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. All right. So for the next 10, land management. This really, when someone put this up last time, and it threw most of us off, but I knew what they were talking about. All right, you bought a vacation property up in the mountains. You got like 20 acres up there. How are you going to manage that land to get the most out of it to survive and thrive on? You need to learn land management. Whether it be rotating crops, rotating livestock, and
forest management, depending if you have trees.
Exactly. All
permaculture gardening, so you're not there, so you don't plant things you don't have to tend constantly.
Yeah. So land management is something that's something that's overlooked by just about every prepper group I've ever talked to. All right, cooking. Here's your cooking.
Yay!
There you go, Mark. There's your cooking. It took until number 22 for someone in the side chat to throw this up years ago. And Josh just came in on on one of the sides. Sumi is here on one of the side, one of you two. Also, Serenity, Peace, and Comfort just came in.
Welcome.
Hey Tammy, I'm gonna pick one off this list right now before we even go any further. Are you a furrier? What the heck is a furrier?
Yes, I can tan hides. I can.
Okay.
I have brain tanned and I have tanned hides with chemicals.
I thought that was a misspelling of a farrier.
No.
I mean, it is.
I thought it was at first when someone put it in there. I go, "Did you mean farrier?" They go, "No, tanning hides and stuff."
Yeah. Gotcha.
And do you know that every animal but one has enough brains in its skull to tan its own hide?
Yeah. What's that one animal? Probably humans.
I can't remember. I can't remember.
Politicians.
Huh? Yeah, politicians. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't remember. I should know this because it's one of the talks we do at the Nature Center. But I just actually took some muskrats to the Nature Center to taxidermy.
And I wish I knew that. I wish I knew that when I was young. So when my dad yelled at me, "I'm going to tan your hide, boy," I could have said, "You can't. I don't have enough brain matter."
Yeah.
All right. So cooking, security, knowing how to set up security for wherever you're at, maintaining everybody's safety. That's a skill that people overlook, thinking, "Oh, all I got to do is strap on and stand out there with my night vision goggles, and I've got that handled." No. There's a lot more to security than most people think. And if you don't believe me, go check out Corsair's Trainers series on security. All right, Steve and Tina Jules in the house. Woohoo! All right, Sumi's asking a question. I'm going to get down to fabrication in a second here. Animal husbandry. I think if anybody knows what we're talking about, livestock, breeding them right, taking care of it, delivering them when there's problems. All that's part of animal husbandry.
Tammy,
we just did a whole topic on that too.
Yeah.
Tammy, just mute yourself for the rest of the show, okay?
There is one on this list I do not know, and I am not good at. I am not a fabricator. I am not a fabricator. I don't know much about fabricating, and I actually need a part made for my wood stove, and I'm asking my cousin, who's a fabricator, to make the part for my wood stove that's missing.
All right, next one is forging here, or being a blacksmith. There's a difference between a blacksmith and a farrier. A farrier shoes horses and donkeys and mules and stuff like that. A blacksmith makes the shoes. Yeah. Blacksmith makes all the others, makes knives
and
pew-pews and
nails. There's going to be a lot the square nails.
Yep.
There's a lot of things a blacksmith. I come from a long line of ministers and blacksmiths, and I have not done much blacksmithing. A little bit, tiny bit.
The fabrication is a kickoff from forging. You're making stuff, and some of it maybe you may need a forge to make. Other ones you're salvaging material, and you're fabricating
something.
Yeah, a lot of welders are fabricators.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It takes a lot of math. Fabrication is a huge math skill.
Yeah, and so fabricating, you'd be like, oh, I need to make a sun oven, or I need to make air circulator to be able to make a solar powered dehydrator. You need to be able to fabricate stuff together.
Pizza oven.
Pizza oven,
yeah.
You also, for a pizza oven, the good pizza ovens, you're going to also need to have someone who is a bricklayer.
Well, I've seen them. When I went to buy my stove, they had a pizza oven that was actually made out of metal.
Yeah.
And they used the propane. And I'm like, if I hadn't had to buy the 2-burner stove for my talk this week, I would have probably got the pizza oven instead. It looked pretty cool. So if you're a metal fabricator, you can still make a pizza oven.
Well, let me put it this way: a better pizza oven, like an outdoor brick barbecue.
Yeah.
I don't think if the crap hit the fan, I'm going to be worried about making pizza.
No, not until
bread maybe. Pizza, not so much.
Yeah.
You can make bread in your pizza oven, though.
I know.
Be a good bread.
Yeah. All right. Shooting, of course, being able to do proper pew control to put it on target every time, so you can, for security purposes or food harvesting purposes.
And for, you use less ammo if you actually hit what you're targeting.
Yeah. And if you hit what you're trying to harvest in the right place because you're a good shot, you're going to waste less meat by hitting it in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
All right. Foraging. That's a skill everybody needs to learn for their own area, because what Tammy forages in her place is different what I'll have to forage here, which is different than Geeky Gardens will forage down in Florida, or what Lee will forage down there in Texas.
And regional names, it's great to buy a book and think you can look at a picture and know the names, but there's a lot of regional names. So this is one where you really need to get some hands-on help and not just read a book. And especially like mushrooms, you cannot read a book and then go eat a mushroom. You really need to have some hands-on experience. Take some classes. There's classes here 4 or 5 times a year, and I take them every time the lady offers them, and I'm sure she's sick of seeing me, but you can't get enough hands-on experience with that.
There are some mushrooms that you can do that once.
Well,
you can read a book, forage mushrooms, and the ending of the book may be very bad.
My teacher that I take the class from is the former secretary of the Mycology Society. I'm not sure if it's Michigan or nationwide. She's pretty up there. And she says every mushroom is edible once.
Yeah.
What's fun? When I'm doing my exercising, I got my Amazon up on the big TV screen in there, and I'm reading one of the books I'm doing called Forgotten Forbidden America series, and I think it's about book 4. Things change on and stuff. They have this one person whose code name is Ivy, and she's teaching the Sin Eaters all about mushrooms and flowers and plants and stuff, and the comments between the different Sin Eaters to each other about it go. One's going, screw that. I'll just take the beating with a bamboo pole. I'm not touching mushrooms. I'm not eating them. After I can see what one can do, I ain't touching none of them.
And kind of on the same topic here, a little bit off topic, being able to identify things that are poisonous and very poisonous or just toxic is also really important. We'll just refer to that back under number 23, security.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting in Scouts, they have several things about wildlife and stuff. We were lucky that one of the grandfathers of the Scouts, of the new Scouts, came in. That's what he does is that's I mean he took us on everyone on a hike around the one camp, and he goes, well, that's miner's lettuce, that's this, that is I just the one poison that one of the we use, that's nightshade, this is that, and he lists off the other poison. You guys don't even touch that one because that's what killed like Achaemenes or whatever, one of the
hemlock.
Yes. Hemlock. Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of poison hemlock around here. And there was a few years back, some campers were found and they were all dead next to their campfire. They had used poison hemlock to roast their marshmallows.
Nice.
So it's really important. You can't just go pick up any stick in the woods and say, oh, I'm going to use this stick to roast my hot dog, because it could be the last campfire you have. So it's really important to know those things and identify those things just as much as it is to know the good things that you can eat.
All right. Holly Ivins just came in. All right. So for a bushcrafting is a little bit of foraging. You're going out, but bushcrafting, you're going to going out to how to make things, how to find your way. It's sort of like a little bit of
make yourself a shelter
and stuff. There's bushcraft is sort of like covers several of them, but it makes the whole thing come together. A bunch of them come together as one. You're able to work at the best. And then of course, furrier is the trapping, is tanning the hides and everything from trapping or raising animals to take care of. Yeah. Anyways, we covered that there. Next one here. Okay. Spinning wheel. Who knows how to spin yarn?
I don't.
Yarn? I can spin yarn, but I can't spin yarn.
I can drop spindle, but I don't spinning wheel.
All right. What's the channel for? Sweet Pea Sid's Inspirations. It's one I've been following for a couple of years, and she'll get wool and she goes through the whole process and shows everybody how to do it, spin it, and then she starts knitting with it.
Tailspin Farm is another one online. It's a smaller channel, but it's somebody I know personally, and she'll be at the Mitten Homesteader Conference Friday and Saturday showing people how to spin.
Cool.
Does this include weaving, or is that going to come later?
I'm not sure, but that would be part of it here. Let's see.
Yeah, that's another one.
Dentistry just got thrown. I'm not sure if that one's on here later on or not. Like I said, for those who just came in, this is from 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, when I did it over on Camp Patton Family Compound. And every one of these items here was suggested by somebody in the chat. And I was just busy typing away, putting it in there as we went through in the chat. That was a 2.5, 3 hour live stream back then. Oh, okay. Okay. Art of negotiation, sort of like bartering, but it's a little bit differently. But it's kind of a bartering. You're negotiating something. It's not necessarily foods. It could be a peace agreement between the next group over, or a trade agreement, just not regular bartering, but setting out a basis for a trade agreement or something like that. So negotiation is another skill, and there's books on that as well. Tanning leather, a little bit different than furrier, but tanning leather, if you can tan leather and get the leather all made and stuff, and someone else is a leather worker making shoes and stuff like that, you're going to have a good business, because you're going to do the leather. He's going to buy it from you. He's going to make the shoes, and you're going to have basically, you're going to wind up creating an economy there, because leather working with leather tanning and stuff, there's going to be belts, jackets, vests. If you got horses and stuff, you're gonna need all the hardware for the horses, the reins, everything, leather. Saddles, chaps,
yokes.
Yep. The yokes that the The leather covers the wooden yokes for the oxen and stuff, so that the wood doesn't rub on them and stuff, because they'll oil up the leather, and that way it slides on the fur of on the hairs of the ox and stuff, so it doesn't chaff them and stuff. Candle making. Candle making has so many aspects to it. But yeah, candle making is something that you can do as just a hobby. You can start as a hobby and sell little candles at the farmer's market, peddler's fair, whatever it is, and you can do a little income on that. Cobbler goes back with making the shoes. That's what a shoemaker was called originally, was a cobbler. And so you're making shoes from either leather and or other materials, like the wooden shoes.
So all the cobblers I knew were peach, cherry, and apple.
Yeah, they came after I seasoned my cast iron Dutch oven.
Yeah, you missed my favorite, blackberry cobbler.
All right, now the next one goes back to a little bit to the blacksmith. This is more of a specific person, making blades, a knife smith, making knives, machetes, axes, hatchets, stuff with an edge on it, and it takes a little bit more skilled, specific skill than most blacksmiths do. It's like it's like a doctor specializing in one particular thing rather than just being a general practitioner. Basic construction, how to build a house, how to build barns.
So I have a suggestion for this one.
Uh-huh.
You want to practice your skills, go volunteer for Habitat for Humanity. Get some hands-on. Go volunteer. They will put you to work and they'll show you what to do.
Or marry into my family and help build everybody's houses.
Well, I've done that.
Help build 4 friggin' houses for family members.
I am surrounded by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On this road that I'm on right now, I have helped build 5 houses.
Yeah. All right, this next one here, cob oven, which could also be called is similar to one of those big pizza oven, dome ovens, or a big bread oven. Mm-hmm. The masonry skills to do that. This was one that someone else had suggested. Then when you got butchering, which covers, I got several books on butchering, covering everything from chickens and rabbits, turkeys, bigger and bigger, sheep, goats, pigs, cows, buffalo.
That's where you need your knife.
I am too old to butcher buffalo.
Yeah. So
your knife smith better make a good sharp knife so you can butcher properly.
Yeah, a good sharp knife and a nice curved knife. I tell you,
we're back to the what's the best knife? Let's talk about the ulu for a minute.
But we tried doing a couple of them. It wasn't until I got a nice knife from Gerber that had a nice curved blade on it, and that worked good for skinning. Oh, that was so good for skinning without damaging the hide.
I use Havilon, and Havilon has replaceable razor blades, basically, and you can get them in 4 different styles. So it's great for gutting. It's great for skinning. You can use it for everything except the bones.
I just went to buy a gutting knife, and the gutting knife is the one that has that special little hook in it when you're hunting. And I could not believe how hard it was. This was 2 years ago, to find a knife that had a gut hook on it. You really can't just depend on finding these things anymore. There's some of the oddest things are missing.
Yep. All right, pottery. Interesting thing is, my youngest son, his first year at scout camp, got the pottery merit badge to learn how to do it. And pottery making in the future of SHTF Tawaki, when everything's down and gone, pottery is going to be what a lot of people are going to need to keep rodents out of their grains, how to, cooking pots and stuff. We're out on, if they don't have cast iron, they're going to need ceramic cooking pots out there on the wood fires.
I'm gonna need a mug to drink my dandelion root coffee, because of course I'm not gonna have coffee from South America, but I'm still gonna be drinking my chicory and my dandelion root.
So pottery is one that most people don't think about, and if you know how to do pottery, you can also do just about all of the ceramics and stuff. My mom and her cousin each had kilns. And they were making them when macrame was the big thing. They were making the beads and everything else with the holes in it. And they couldn't make enough. They were selling it so fast because all the macrameers wanted to put stuff on their macrame pot hangers and stuff that.
1973 is calling for me.
Yeah. All righty. All right. So as we went along, we got some more things interesting ones coming in. Alternative energy modes. Learn about different ways of doing energy and stuff. That's what someone put in 5 years ago. And learning alternate energy modes for heating or making power could be a very lucrative SHTF Tawaki situation in employment. If you can make power where nobody else can, or you can make heat where nobody else can, especially indoors, you'll be very, in certain environments, you'll be very highly prized. Next one, hand tool maintenance. So that's taking care of, being able to perform maintenance and repairs on hand tools. Hammers with wooden handles. Do you know how to make a wooden handle to go on a hammer to repair it? Do you know how to sharpen a draw knife? Do you know how to fix a file that's been damaged? Do you know how to take care of pickaxes and mattocks and repair shovels that have been damaged? All right, so that's hand tool maintenance is going to be something. It's also, if you like the hand drill, so you know how to fix the hand drill that keeps on skipping the gears before you totally destroy it. So a hand tool maintenance person will be very, or having that skill will be a side hustle that you'll be able to be very well paid for. This next one is that was recommended, and that is multilingual, both reading and speaking, because sometimes a manual will not be in English. It may be in Spanish or French or something else, and you may need to be able to translate it to be able to use that equipment properly.
Okay, this may save your life someday, so remember this. So repeat after me. Ni streljaje. Ja zdаюсь, я знаю много военных секрет. So that's Russian for don't shoot, I surrender, I know a whole bunch of military secrets.
Okay.
Yeah, but can you say that in Chinese?
No, I can't do tonal languages.
Russian is one of the ones I really need to brush up on. I do not know Russian. It's hard. Russian is hard.
It's very precise.
Yeah. Thanks to several former doctor friends, I can swear in many languages, including 2 dialects of from India, but Russian I did not learn.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. The only way I know to speak multiple languages is a different sign language.
I know.
Anyways,
I know kung fu and 2 other Chinese words.
Chow mein.
Oh,
there's one of them.
Don't you know? Like, isn't Ohio? Oh, that's Japanese. Never mind.
All right. Journeys in Bohol from Philippines. Again. Yeah, came in again. Yeah. Hansel maintenance. I'm reading on a side chat here. Okay, Hansel maintenance. I think fiber. Okay, I don't know how to sharpen. Yeah, hand saws and reset teeth. That's part of hand tool maintenance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because chainsaws. Not the only way you can use a good chainsaw is you take the chain and you put it in as the blade of a bow saw. That's what chainsaw is going to wind up being. Because if the motors and everything else is gone on it, you're down to all manual tools. That's where a chainsaw blade's going to turn up at is in a bow saw. Yeah,
and no gas and no oil and yeah.
All right. Solar power kind of goes back to the electrical back there on page 1. Learning how to put together solar panels and match solar panels voltages and wattages to inverters and battery packs, because there are more and more 24 came out popular. Now 48 is a big 48 volt is a big one, and now there's 50. It's weird. It's a 52.5 volt battery packs that some of the companies are making for their power stations and stuff. So you got to be able to figure
know how to use a multimeter.
Yeah, multimeter, but also how to do to also understand the math in amps, voltage, wattage, and all that other fun stuff.
And understanding parallel and series, because you don't want to put the wrong one in the wrong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Becoming dangerous. Hey, Wayne.
Counting mine.
Oh.
I can count in a dead language too. 1 apple here, 2 apples here, 3 apples.
Okay, count.
Oh, see how many people recognize the count from Sesame Street.
So the other day I was walking with a bunch of friends, and one of my friends got hit by a car, injured really bad. This is a joke. And I yelled out, "Is there a doctor anywhere?" And this woman jumped up and says, "I'm a doctor." I said, "What are you a doctor of?" She said, "Mathematics." And I said, "What's your diagnosis?" She said, -1. Okay.
All righty. Next one, barber skills, which goes a little bit more than just barber skills, just for the, but any type of hairdressing skills, cutting, everything, because some of us need to be shaved, some of us need to be clipped short, some of us need to do something with the hair to feel nice.
Yeah, so, you know what? Depends on the Milwaukee situation. I don't think you're going to go looking for a hairstylist to give you that bouffant with little sideburns. Yeah, just cut it so it doesn't get in my way and get dirty.
Back in the Wild Wild West, the doctor was usually the barber too.
Yeah.
And the dentist.
And the dentist.
Yeah.
And the bartender. And
All right. Glass blowing skills.
Good luck finding.
You're going to need that forge again. Get that forge back out. You're going to need it.
Yeah. You need the forge out stuff.
Raw silica glass to make your raw silica to make your glass. Good luck with that.
And but making the glass, you're going to make bale jars.
Yeah. Good luck. Okay. That's called decades of skill for that one.
Yeah. That's why that's when you start taking out the junior college, and you start learning to do that at the junior college and find out, hey,
you're lucky if they'll teach you how to blow a vase or a little bird out of glass at a junior college.
Interesting thing. In California, in the San Francisco Bay Area, a lot of the junior colleges have glass blowing.
Huh.
But you can only take two things of it. Then they send you over to Oakland, down by the Embarcadero. There is a big glass foundry down there, and they have like 100 people in there all the time making stuff, and they charge to teach classes and stuff, and then people are in there, that want to do it more often, and they're making stuff and they're selling it.
Yeah, the Henry Ford Museum in Michigan you can also take some glass blowing classes if you are a member of the museum, but it is a very tough. That's I thought beekeeping would be the toughest one on your list. Glass blowing beats beekeeping as being the toughest on your list right now.
Just remember one simple thing when you're glass blowing:
don't inhale.
You're dead.
Yeah.
All right. Engineering degree or something for design, structural, electrical, engineering. Engineers are another breed all apart. And if you have an engineer who also likes to hunt and also likes to garden, you got a treasure. It's very rare to find an engineer.
That would be total, like a 1 in a million kind of person.
Yeah. My oldest son is an engineer, and he helps my wife in the garden. That's about as far as he goes. As far as
my brother-in-law is an engineer. He's actually truly a rocket scientist, and it pains me to watch him put peanut butter on toast. It just goes. I'm like, dude, seriously, it's only peanut butter. Nope, has to be perfect. I'm like,
he's a
rocket scientist.
No, he's a
ADHD, ADD.
No, not but it's a different one. The ones that just have to set everything up just absolutely perfect in their house. Yeah. Anyways,
I have an engineering joke, since I live so close to all sorts of engineers and rocket scientists. So you've heard about the glass half full, the glass half empty. The pessimist says the glass is half empty. The optimist says the glass is half full. The engineer says you should have used a different glass.
Yeah. All right. All right. Here it is: knitting and weaving. So you spun earlier we had the spinning wheel, then we had someone that can take that and do knitting and or weaving to make clothes. Oh, that's one of the things there. Map making. In other words, also what's the other one? Surveying and map making. Because if we're into a Tawaki situation and we're 5 years in and nobody has any map, what's the actual boundary? We need to start setting, or you're rebuilding, we need to start setting things up, setting up boundaries, new property lines and stuff like that. You need someone that can actually do that sort of thing. Like back in the early days of our country when they're trying to set stuff up. And even
Daniel Boone.
And even the professionals screwed up, not counting on the declination of the North Pole for over here. And that's how you have state lines going like this. All of a sudden it jogs up for the next one because they corrected it and they got over there.
Hey, Tammy, you forgot one on your joke. It's the opportunist who takes the glass, drinks it, and looks at them both and says, now you have no water.
Yes. I have not heard that one. I'll have to add that to my joke.
All right. And then I go with map making is going to people that know that actually know how to read maps, basically orienteering skills, so that you know how to get around and get from point A to point B to get to from your community over to the community 2 valleys over without getting lost.
Yeah, throw compass skills on there too.
Let's throw topography.
There's your engineer is OCD.
Yes, that is him. Yes.
But throw topography on there, because it's not fun when you decide to go hiking and your sister forgets to look at the topography map and pick something that's 4 miles straight up.
Yeah. Look, why are those lines so close together? Oh, it must be a short distance. Oh yeah.
She always forgets topography when she takes a shortcut. Her shortcuts are never shorter. They're always all the way around the mountain this way up and all the way around the mountain that. I don't like driving in corkscrews. So, you got to take topography into account.
All right. So going back to the beginning. So this was from 5 years ago. Every line was submitted by someone in the side chat. And it's not by most hardness, most popular, whatever. This is as they were submitted. Beekeeping, plumbing, electrical, appliance repair, converting water to hydrogen and oxygen, Medical triage, cast iron care, better gardening, farrier, trapping, welding, medicinal herbs and remedies, food storage preservation, canning, freeze drying, dehydrating, all those. Distilling alcohol, hunting, fishing, woodworking, non-powered tools, sewing, making ammo, including making black powder, bartering, land management, cooking, security, animal husbandry, forging / blacksmith, fabrication, shooting, forage, going out and foraging for food, bushcraft, furrier, tanning the hides and making furry hide stuff, spinning wheel, art of negotiation, tanning leather, candle making, cobbler, that's a shoemaker, knife smith, basic construction, cob oven / masonry work, butchering, pottery, alternate energy modes, handling, hand tool maintenance, multilingual reading and speaking, solar power, barber skills, glass blowing, engineering, knitting, weaving, map making, and map reading / orienteering. So out of that, people, and if you have more to add to that, 5 skills you need to know now, and then 3 more later on to thrive.
Water purification.
I've got 3 that weren't on there I think are critical. We had medical triage, and all that is assigning priority for treatment.
Right.
What we don't have is medical treatment or first aid.
Yeah.
So I think that needs to be added.
Yeah. To me, first aid is the first skill everybody needs to know. Absolutely.
We had metalworking, but we didn't have specifically gunsmithing.
Right.
I think gunsmithing is going to be critical.
That's a really good one.
Then another one that is not mentioned anywhere in there is communications. Could be Morse code, could be semaphore, could be radio, but there's no communications in there. So I think we need to add those 3 to it.
Yeah. And so on that, communications, get your ham radio license. It's easy. I taught a course for the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, and over half of them passed and got their technician license on the first try. So it's not that hard if you follow the stuff. Not Red Cross. Salvation Army has a program called Saturn, and Saturn is their ham stuff. And Saturn teaches the ham radio classes, so you can get your license there.
I did not know that.
Yes, and it is an excellent course. And
so if I find a ham radio, just because I'm rooting around for stuff, and I get on there, what are the implications if I turn on a ham radio and start talking to somebody?
And you're most likely, because if you have on a ham radio, if you just start talking, they're going to know you don't have a license. And ham radio operators are very protective of their frequencies, and you will find yourself being referred to the FCC for.
So basically, in a Tawaki situation, where I'm lost and I find a ham radio, first thing I'm going to do is pick up and talk.
That's different. If you're lost and stuff, and you say, "Hey, I just found this ham radio. I need help," then they'll help you.
And if there's no law enforcement around, it's a free for all.
No, law enforcement. If it's an emergency situation,
no. I meant like Tawaki, crap hit the fan.
Yeah.
Who's gonna come and arrest you? Nobody.
Hey, volunteers.
2 things. Number 1, the enforcement is self-enforcement by the American Radio Relay League. So if you're a licensed ham amateur operator, is what we call ourselves instead of ham. But if you're a licensed amateur operator, then we enforce all the rules on our frequencies. So we're the ones who would direction find and report.
Beyond what's going on now. I understand now licenses and all that.
So you're just talking about
the Milwaukee situation. I don't think anybody's going to care. If I need help or I want to talk to somebody and there's no law enforcement anywhere left that's taking care of anything simple like that. Yeah, I'm getting on a ham radio and talking to.
Okay, so now we're at number 2, and that's a big misperception about quote ham radios. If you say you find a ham radio, you're probably talking about a 2 meter, 70 centimeter handy-talkie. They talk duplex, transmit and receive on different frequencies, to a repeater. If the electricity is down, that repeater doesn't exist. So you aren't going to talk to anybody on a handy-talkie. Okay. You're going to have to talk to somebody on an HF rig, which is going to be anywhere from 3 to 30 megahertz. That's going to be inside a fixed station with a half wavelength bipole antenna. So you're not going to find those lying around. My radio costs $1,500. The power supply costs $200. The antenna costs $300. You don't find those out there. The handy-talkie that you're talking about for a ham radio, you're not going to communicate with anybody because it isn't simplex. If that's what you want, get GMRS. GMRS is like a CB radio.
Actually, 2 meter is both simplex and duplex.
But there's one simplex frequency that's common.
Yeah, well, it depends. Because depending, like in California, the Martinez Amateur Radio Club has a 2 meter simplex and a 2 meter duplex to the repeater. Pleasant Hill Amateur Radio Club, same thing on their own separate frequency. Everyone has their own frequency.
Have one common simplex frequency, but if you pick up a radio in the field, chances are it's hooked up to the local repeater for duplex and not simplex.
A lot of them do. A lot of them will be set unless you know how to change it off of.
So you have to know what frequency to go to.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing.
You have to know how to program it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's the older ones are a little bit easier to use than the newer ones for that. But still, it's if you're going to be thinking you might be coming across one, just be simple now. Get your license, learn it now, have fun now. Radio clubs are really fun, and they have a lot of activity. So go ahead and learn it now, and don't worry about, I'll just find one later. It's better just to learn one now and get it done now so you can do it. And
I'm going with carrier pigeons.
Semaphore.
Dowsing is a skill people don't believe in. I've seen it work absolutely great sometimes.
I can douse graves and tell you how tall the person was.
Yeah.
I've done a little water, but I haven't done it.
Yeah.
Just
bike repair is another one that nobody mentioned last time. Auto maintenance one. If that's the curling, I think with ice and the
curing.
No, salt curing.
Hang on, let me claim these.
Yeah,
you
can't loan those to Mark. You need them yourself. But that I'm assuming that's salt curing meats.
Yeah.
Well, you got salt, smoke, curing.
Yeah. That went back under the one on the where we're talking. What was it? Number 13. Canning. Number 13.
You sure it isn't talking about medicine?
Well, you could be doing that.
Curing disease?
Well, that would be under the number.
It's under the Rockefeller title, isn't it? Yeah.
That would have been under
51.
Number 12, medical herbs and remedies. So food, there's the food preservation. That was number 13. All right.
So Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, he said curing meat. Yeah, and also there's salt packing. There's ones for the curing meats as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Lewis wants to get the CB radio. I got a CB radio I had tweaked back in the day, so it puts out 6 watts and puts a hurt on my car battery really quick.
And the great thing about CB is it's AM and it's HF, so it's usually in the 29 megahertz band.
Yeah.
And so it's going to get a little bit greater distance than the line of sight VHF, UHF that you have with the handy talkies.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
Yeah, dentistry was on there, sort of.
No, dentistry wasn't on the list, but it was mentioned several times in the chat. So, like I said, this list was just from the last one 5 years ago, where as everybody was adding stuff in the chat, I was typing away frantically, trying to keep up, while Uncle Al and Dave Southern Ohio Prepping were talking it up while I was just typing away. But this is something everybody should be thinking about. Is on the on it is top 5 skills you need to learn now to survive, and 3 more that no one really thinks of to thrive. Make yourself valuable with those other 3, and be a specialist.
Wilson, I get the joke on that one.
Tom Hanks, right?
Yeah, with an ice skate and a rock.
Yeah.
Baking.
So I hope everybody got something out of this. Got you thinking outside the box. What skills do I need to learn now that will help me now, and what skills will help me later on? Now, some of those skills that will help you later on might be ones you just want to do as a hobby now. Like Sweet Pea Sid's inspirations. She does crocheting, but she also does spins her own yarn and blends her own wools and stuff. And there was someone else was doing flax and making linen. I didn't subscribe to the channel. I got busy watching it, and then the grandkids came in, and I forgot to subscribe to the channel. Dummy me. So yeah, there are a lot of skills out there to think about. That's why I'll end this is stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps: water, food, medicine, clothing, and learn a new skill every month.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. Skills are knowledge. Knowledge is power. And knowledge and power can will help you survive in a bad thing. My grandmother, even before she retired, she was a real estate agent. In later years, she'd come home and she'd watch her afternoon soap operas, and she would knit. She knitted, everything for every one of her grandkids, different ones. So I got one hanging up here. Dang it, nope. Danny took it home again. I have a shirt from when I was 6 years old. I'm not sure, a sweater that my grandmother made for me when I was 6 years old. My grandson Danny, who is 6 years old, guess where my sweater is right now? Across the street at his house in his closet.
Yeah, hopefully your son-in-law doesn't throw it in the washer and dryer.
Well, he doesn't do laundry. He does not do laundry. And my daughter knows that those don't go into the those don't go in. Saddle, love to sew, Butch says.
There was a good comment about soap making.
Yes, soap making is another one. Teresa at Stringfield Ridge Farm. Teresa has made soap and talked about it. Stringfield Ridge Farm, great homesteading channel.
I have a couple videos too. I even have a 1-bar method so that you can make just an individual bar and just test your skills and not use a lot of things up at once.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember who the other one was. She's in California. It's something essentials. Heavenly Essentials. She makes different soaps and stuff, and she makes candles, and she sells them on Etsy as well. And what was her name? She would never show her face until she turned 18, and she was on for like 2 years before she turned 18. And she makes soaps and sells them as well. So got taps and dies. Oh, my dad was a machinist. I inherited 4 toolboxes of machine tools.
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. Lee said about gunsmithing. A lathe. If you have a lathe, you can become a gunsmith. You just got to take the extra course and stuff. But everything you need to be a gunsmith is on a good lathe and mill setup.
Yeah, and a lot of tools, a lot of tooling.
Yeah, but there's and put it this way: if you got if you got a lathe, even if it's electric,
metal lathe, not a wood lathe, a metal lathe.
A metal lathe, but if you have one of the get hold of one of the older ones, that off on the side belt driven for your different speeds adjustments.
Yeah, the old South Bend. Yep, I had one.
You can always turn that off and run that off of a water wheel.
Yep. Or your kid's bicycle or something. Yeah.
Yeah, you get all the kids there pedaling together. Keep the speed up, guys. Keep the speed up.
Come on, kids. Keep that speed going because I got to get this barrel rifled perfectly.
You want the 22 rifle for your birthday? You need to pedal.
That's right.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. And like mentioned before, in their woodworking, the New Yankee Workshop is well, that's one, but the Woodwright Shop, good place to learn woodworking skills and stuff there. While you can, 37 episodes on PBS, and I think you can. PBS actually sells them on DVD. They did it one time. I don't know if they still do.
The only bad thing about a metal lathe is you've got metal filings everywhere. They find it. Yep. They find their way into your underwear and inside your socks. So you've got to make sure if you're doing any drilling or lathing with metal, you've got some protective clothing on.
One of the things that I learned in high school,
take off your jewelry.
You get some rare earth type magnets, big ones. Mm-hmm. You put a thin leather thing on it and tie it and have it tied by the top of your shoes. Anything falls out, goes
unless
in there.
You're working with aluminum or brass, in which case, stainless.
But also a good thing to have with working in metal is also a good vacuum system going on, so it pulls that and an oil system.
And make sure you have eye and respiratory protection.
Yeah. But making paper. Yes, paper making will be a skill. There are some real cool historical videos here. When I say historical videos, channels that do history stuff, and they show making paper and stuff like that. And so a couple of them go through different types of paper, including the ever famous and ever popular toilet paper. Actually, when working on a lathe,
nope,
no gloves. Absolutely
no gloves,
not.
no long sleeve shirts. Yeah, I got my jacket in high school. Rolled me up like a sardine can because I reached over it because the shop was cold and it caught my cuff. Yeah. Fortunately, when I yanked, and I didn't know where the foot brake was, when I yanked back, it pulled my giant piece of steel out of the lathe, and I walked around the rest of the day with a members only jacket on that had a sleeve opened up like a can opener, and people were looking at me. It was like my Medal of Honor. It's like, yeah, I survived the metal class. Yep.
Yeah. Now, along with the
and jewelry, rings.
Where is it here? I forget what it's called. There's the programmable ones that you put in there and you
CNC.
Close it down. Yeah,
CNC and lathe and mill.
And it has the oil or the soluble oil they're spraying on it, and it does all the milling pre-programmed. One of those.
That's great if you know how to program it, and there's still electricity and. Yeah. I mean, basic daily skills to get a job. Sure, yeah, go take a class, learn that stuff. You're gonna make bank.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to use one, you find one in a machine shop that has no power. Yeah, it's just a paperweight.
Well, one of the books I was reading, the same one I was talking about earlier, the Forgotten Forbidden America series by Thomas A. Watson. In the first book, they're setting up their place out on a farm, and in the barn they built a shop, And the one guy learned electricity and how to run the lathe and work and stuff like that. And yeah, that was his thing to do. But one of the things they did on that was to put up a hydroelectric on the stream that flowed through the property of the farm off on the side. But there is something I want to share with you guys here real quick before I forget. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Boom. Okay. One of the most interesting things about skills and stuff, books and fiction books, and I really love the way Jerry Young wrote this one up. It's called Cowboy. That's the name of the book by Jerry D. Young. And it's about the boy who was a kid and growing up after the event, but his mother joined a mag. She was not rich. They had tiers on it. Her spot was outside like a campground spot, and she survived. They survived it. What she did before it happened, she started learning skills, candle making, others, and she learned how to make gunpowder. And she had all the books and stuff. So once the event happened, she started learning more and more. And she started learning animal husbandry, found some wild horses, brought them in, started breeding horses, was making her gunpowder, was doing this, taught her kids how to do everything too. And a very good book on learning why you need to learn skills for a Tawaki situation. So anyways, I hope everybody got some ideas tonight. That was the thing, give you guys ideas, get you guys thinking about stuff you're going to need to do stuff with. All right, so coming up here, I know Tammy's not going live this week. Lee, what nights are you going live and what are your topics?
My next live is going to be Monday. It's going to be chapter 1 of Jonathan Hollerman's book, Survival Tactics.
Okay.
Doing an EMP.
And what time is that for your time?
It'll be 8 o'clock Central.
8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern.
Right. Now, I would like to advocate another channel. Okay. I'm a member of TACTA, which is the American Civil Defense Association. And we've got a webinar coming up on Thursday at 7 p.m. Central. And it's going to be by a nuclear engineer, and it's on surviving a nuclear detonation. So if you join tacta.org, it's free, and it's a great organization to be a member of. They have a biannual newsletter that comes out that you pay for. But other than that, the TACTA itself is free, and there's all kinds of stuff on the website you can go through for information. But they have a monthly webinar like this, and so strongly encourage you to get registered for the 7 p.m. Thursday, How to Survive Nuclear Detonation.
Cool. Excellent. Oh, I almost forgot why I put this up for my background. Because in Tawaki, if you can ride a horse and you can handle the pew-pew, you're going to be in good shape. And I knew all three of these gentlemen back when I was a teenager. All righty. So coming up on my side, Thursday night here on Gray Man Prepping at 10 o'clock Eastern, which is an hour after that one starts, is the Midnight Ride, and we go over some news items and stuff, and then we talk about whatever you guys want to talk about in the side chat. And then Friday on Camp Patton Family Compound, my other channel, Friday night in the homestead, is why growing what you eat is so important. Saturday, I have mine at for Survival Saturday is at 8 p.m. Eastern. The topic is after the U.S. economy collapses, what are your plans? That's a series of an event, and what are your plans for the rest of the year? And so this Saturdays is after the economy collapses. I got to get with Shadow Scout Swede. He has one at 2 o'clock Eastern in the afternoon, and I will be on that with Mark and with Mike of
whoever else shows up. Diorsi might show up.
Yeah. UK Urban Preppers is going to be on there. So, all right. Monday on Camp Patton Family Compound, 5 survival meals using pantry staples. So that's going to be topic on Monday. Next Tuesday here, should you organize a CAG? And a CAG is different than a MAG. A MAG is a mutual assistance program. A CAG is a community assistance program. Already, you have a community, you organize the community there where you're at. So we're going to say, should you organize a CAG? That's going to be next Tuesday. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming in on both on Tammy's and Lee's channel as well as mine. And remember, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps. Water, food, medicine, clothing. Learn a new skill. And if you can, grow something. Plant your own garden. Indoors or out. Grow food. All right, everyone. Take care.
Take care.
Have a good night. Tammy, say goodbye if she wasn't muted.